top team. Both of those wins have been at Chepstow, and they have been improved form for him over what he showed before, but he's stepping up into the big time here. This is a much better race, and the question is he up to it? He's got to improve a little bit, but knowing Paul Nicholls, champion trainer, multiple champion trainer, you know, he could get a little bit more out of him. He looks very fit, doesn't he? Isaac Des Obeaux there in the green jacket. This one here is Gidley Park. That's the favourite. Antrim Coast 410. Isaac Des Obeaux, by the way, if you do fancy him, he's a massive price, 21.2. I just think maybe, although Paul Nicholls obviously is very good at improving horses and getting the best out of them, he may just have a little bit more on his plate here, and it might just be a bit beyond him. But just looking to see now, you've got 7 runners in here, so if you're going to go for a place, you've got to get one of the first 2, which makes it a bit more difficult. If there had been 3, Isaac Des Obeaux might have been an interesting bet at a good price, but getting in the first 2 is going to be hard here, I think. Antrim Coast, Irish runner, Gavin Cromwell. We've seen it proven again today that Irish runners who come over and run at big meetings in Britain, they very often win them. So can Antrim Coast make it another one for Ireland here? Quite possibly. Second here over 3 miles last time out, but he has got 2.5 mile form in Ireland. So Antrim Coast, I don't think the drop-in trip should be too much of a problem for him. It's just that he's up against a potentially brilliant horse here in Gidley Park. At the start here at Cheltenham. Just 10 seconds to go if you fancy something. Johnny Who, we've seen the colours of J.P. McManus many times this afternoon for the 2 John Joes here. John Joe O'Neill Jr. riding for his dad, John Joe O'Neill Sr. And although this horse is slightly raced at the age of 7, he's done well. And really good run. Only beaten a couple of lengths, but 4th at Newbury. So he's in the mix as well. But Gidley Park, fascinating runner here. Let's join Alan House.
Away for the SSS Super Alloys Novices Hurdle, this Grade 2, registered as the Classic Novices Hurdle. It's over the extended 2.5 miles, and they've taken their first hurdle, being led by Isaac Des Obeaux. He's over in front, but pressed by Gidley Park on the run down towards jump number 2. Close up behind is Johnny Who in the green and gold hoops. And then Antrim Coast in the purple and pink. Slight error there from Isaac Des Obeaux. Just had to take back, and Gidley Park has now inherited the lead. So Gidley Park goes on as they race toward the bend that takes them back to the home straight. Pressed though once again by Isaac Des Obeaux as they round the corner. And Isaac Des Obeaux now back in front from Gidley Park. A couple of lengths away to Johnny Who, who was 4th in the Grade 1 Challow last time. Then Antrim Coast and Keith Donoghue racing there back in 4th. Moving up to the outside is Lucky Place in the yellow and blue. And the back marker is Chock-a-Block, also won at Ludlow last time out to get off the mark over Timber. Into the home straight then, and on towards their next hurdle. Approaching the 3rd, and it's Isaac Des Obeaux. He's back with a small lead again. From Gidley Park, he's won both his starts over hurdles so far. Also won a National Hunt flat race last season, trying to go 4 out of 4 in the career today. Then Johnny Who, more near side is Lucky Place in the yellow and blue for James Bowen. Antrim Coast is following him, and then Chock-a-Block under Sam Twiston-Davis on this long run between these 2 flights of hurdles. Isaac Des Obeaux to the near side in the noseband, Gidley Park in the maroon and orange, and Jonathan Berg. Close up is Johnny Who and John Joe Jr., then Lucky Place and Antrim Coast and Chock-a-Block. Skipping over that flight, good job from Gidley Park. Gidley Park's going to lead them on the bend that takes them off into the country. Gidley Park from Isaac Des Obeaux. Handy in 3rd is Johnny Who. A half a length then back to Antrim Coast, and a further half away to Lucky Place, and Chock-a-Block remains last of the 6 of them. Into the back straight, 3 flights of hurdles await him down the next part of the track. Gidley Park and Isaac Des Obeaux, they've been disputing throughout. Gidley Park just with the advantage at the current time. From Isaac Des Obeaux, and then Johnny Who. Close up Antrim Coast between horses, Lucky Place wider out, and then Chock-a-Block. Here's their 5th flight of hurdles. Isaac Des Obeaux, far side, just ahead perhaps there from Gidley Park. Then Johnny Who, Antrim Coast and Lucky Place, and then came Chock-a-Block. Flight number 6 coming. Isaac Des Obeaux and Gidley Park still the leading pair. over this middle hurdle down the back. Johnny Who lands in third. Antrim Coast between Johnny Who and the wider Lucky Place. And then Chock-a-Block as on they run towards jump number 7. Gidley Park, Isaac de Zobo. Johnny Who jumped up well just in behind the principal pairing there. Then Lucky Place and Antrim Coast. And then Chock-a-Block is still being waited with. They begin to climb over on the far side then as the runners make their way towards what will be 3 from the finish. Our flight number 8 in this contest. It's Gidley Park and Isaac de Zobo. These two, and Johnny Who back in third. Antrim Coast and Lucky Place the next two. And then came Chock-a-Block over flight number 8. Antrim Coast perhaps a little untidy there, as Gidley Park and Isaac de Zobo are still the front-running pair. Johnny Who to the inside in third position. Antrim Coast is next. And then Lucky Place and Chock remains. They held up last. Turning to go then down the hill shortly. They've only got 2 more flights of hurdles left to take in the SSS Super Alloys Novices Hurdle. And it's out in front, Isaac de Zobo from Gidley Park. It's only a length away to Johnny Who. Lucky Place to the outside of Antrim Coast. And then came Chock-a-Block as they raced their way down towards 2 from the finish. It's Gidley Park and Jonathan Berg. Isaac de Zobo with a noseband under Harry Cobden. Johnny Who continuing to track them through. That was 2 out. Antrim Coast lands next in 4th. Then Lucky Place in Chock-a-Block is now looking to play his part. They're on this long run now down towards the final flight of hurdles, and they're about to straighten towards home, and quite a few of the chance. Gidley Park will lead them in. Johnny Who though begins to apply pressure. Isaac de Zobo is now off the bridle in yellow and blue. Here comes Lucky Place with a sweeping move towards the stand side. It's Gidley Park now joined and pressed by Lucky Place to the near side, and Lucky Place under James Bone has now picked it up from Gidley Park on the run down towards the final hurdle. Johnny Who back in third, then Chock-a-Block pretty much in the air together. Lucky Place, Gidley Park is fighting back up the run-in. Gidley Park is now back in front, has gone on again from Lucky Place, who himself now rallies up the run-in. Gidley Park and Lucky Place with not much in it.
And another epic race at Cheltenham at the day. Oh, it's just got there, hasn't it? Gidley Park. Gidley Park just ran Lucky Place out of it there on a day of brilliant racing. Another epic finish there at Cheltenham, and Gidley Park, the favourites. Just the winner there for Johnny Burke and Harry Fry, and I suspect he'll now go and run in the Ballymore, or what used to be called the Ballymore, at the festival, beating Lucky Place by half a length with Isaac de Zobo third. Let's go to Newcastle now, race 1. They're underway with Malcolm Tomlinson.
Continue. The pace is ready to shine in a green jacket with red hoop sleeves and a gold cap. So they're swinging the turn on the top end of the track. They're through the first 2.5 furlongs, and racing opposite the grandstands down the far side. It's Carlton dictating a steady pace by about 3 parts of a length to King Victor racing second. 1 length back to Best Guess racing towards the inside, and then it's a Love Thing centre pack. Sagateur behind those, about 4 lengths off the leaders in 5th position. Races just in advance of Artisan Dancer, and no movers yet from Ready to Shine. She's still at the back of the 7-runner field, and Ryan Sexton's got her about 8 lengths off the leader, which is Carlton and Tom Eves, as they continue down towards the final 6.5 furlongs or so. Carlton in front, then approaching halfway by 3 parts of a length to King Victor racing second. Length and a half to Best Guess, the inside rail, followed through by Artisan Dancer, still centre pack. So Love Thing, I should say, still centre pack in front of Sagateur, then Dancer, and the back marker Ready to Shine. Pace just quickening a little bit here as they go back inside the final 5 furlongs. Carlton off the front by 3 parts of a length to King Victor, who's shadowing this leader, looking for his 3rd consecutive win, sitting behind the pace. That one's followed by Best Guess, who now gets a bit of a squeeze on from Paul Mulrennan in 3rd place. Behind that one, it's a Love Thing out deep for Liam Kinneary. Sagateur still towards the back in front of Artisan Dancer, and Ready to Shine is still last as they go inside the final 3. Carlton with breezing upsides King Victor. Behind those, it's a Love Thing with Artisan Dancer trying to pick up. Sagateur's under pressure but trying to make a forward move. Ready to Shine still well back. Best Guess has been shuffled back to the rear. Inside the final couple of furlongs they come then. Carlton tackled by King Victor. It's a Love Thing towards the near side, making a good fist of it. And also between horses, Artisan Dancer trying to pick up from the back. Hitting the front, King Victor, but he's got company. It's a Love Thing to the near side. Artisan Dancer over on the far side. It's a Love Thing. Artisan Dancer over in the centre, finishing off really well. Artisan Dancer powering to the front. Will go on to score for Jason Hart and Charlie Johnson. Artisan Dancer 1 to It's a Love Thing in second. King Victor for third in front of Carlton, and then Ready to Shine.
First of the evening at Newcastle, which will be under lights for the rest of the meeting. You see the lights just started to come on as the afternoon light begins to fade to darker things for the next few hours at Newcastle, but they have a floodlit straight 1,600 metres there, so that's where they'll be for the rest of the evening. And here they are at Uttoxeter, final race of the day. Seen some really good racing at Uttoxeter as well as Cheltenham and Doncaster today. So Libor Lad, Theo Gillard for David Dennis is just favourite with us here in a race in which I think you can give a few of the others a chance. Competitive end to the day at Uttoxeter on this testing heavy ground there this afternoon. Twip Story and Call Me Arthur, both with a chance. Ismail, a potential winner if he can just find a little bit more. He's just fallen short in previous races, but Libor Lad, I think he's been doing really well this year. Lots of seconds and one win. And it might be that he's going to be just too good enough for these, because his win was on soft ground here at Uttoxeter in a similar race to this. So everything's in his favour today. Call Me Arthur. Certainly his previous form wasn't up to much, but last time took a giant stride forward. He's favourite now, Call Me Arthur. Surprised at that, 370, but he was much better last time than he had been previously, and it looked a very competitive race at Exeter. Big field, and it's a good track, Exeter, so takes a decent horse to win there. So Call Me Arthur and Libor Lad are the two at the top of the betting. Starter flag up, and about to come in now, Uttoxeter. Twip Story, another who could run well. It's a bit shorter in the betting than I thought he would be. So I think in handicaps now, this horse may improve on his novice form. Up they come at Uttoxeter. Last race described by Mark Slater.
Refused to race last time, but in the black and yellow colours is taking part as they head towards the first flight in this Quinbet Novices Limited Handicap Hurdle, with the Ginderella prominent with the black noseband. Also well there, Clongowes in the two shades of blue, and Cotchiston on the outside for Lewis Stones is handily placed in pink and blue. Ismail in the yellow and red is next. The well-backed Tup Story is right there in the thick of the early action in the pink and light blue hoops. The back marker Guard on Land, stablemates Hawaii Dumestival in blue and green stripes also is towards the rear, as is the best turned out winner, Lifetime Adventure, in grey and red diamonds. They're going on towards flight number 2 over on the far side. 2 flights to take in the back straight, and there's little to choose between our 2 leaders, with Ginderella disputing it with the Clongowes as they go towards the second, with Cotchiston and Ismail the next pair as they stream over that flight of hurdles. Close up on the inside is Libor Lad in the orange sleeves and maroon cap. Wide on the course is the veteran Lochgarman Arish in orange and green colours. Call Me Arthur, the top weight, is in midfield at this stage in light blue and red with a white cap. Going towards the end of the back straight on this first circuit, Clongowes makes it under Jack Quinlan narrowly from Ginderella and Lorcan Murta. They're 1 and 2. From Cotchiston sharing third with Ismail, and then back in fifth is Tup Story, and sixth on the inside Libor Lad. From Call Me Arthur, Lochgarman Arish, and then the black and yellow of Guard on La. Guard on La followed on the inside by Hawaii Dumestival. He's got the tongue tie on for the first time today, and just the back marker is the Scottish Raider Lifetime Adventure as they make the run into the straight and head towards their next 3 flights of hurdles, numbers 3, 4 and 5. In the leading group of 3, in the centre of that trio, is Ginderella, and she may just touch down in front in company with Clongowes, but the better leap came from Clongowes. A little slow back in midfield was Call Me Arthur, with a length and a half back to the third on the inside behind the 2 leaders, Ismail, and then on the left with the white blaze and the headgear is Cotchiston. Very wide on the course is Lochgarman Arish as they go over the middle flight in the straight and head on towards flight number 5, which will be the 10th and last next time round. Clongowes disputes it with the Ginderella. They're 1 and 2 from Ismail, and Tup Story still there just behind the leaders, with Cotchiston and Lochgarman Arish racing wide of Call Me Arthur, and on the inside Libor Lad. Libor Lad followed by Lifetime Adventure, and Hawaii du Mestival and Gardon La are the last two, and about 10 lengths between first and last as they pass the stands in the Quinbet Novices Limited Handicap Hurdle and head past halfway and out towards the far side, passing their departure points with another 5 flights of hurdles to take. It's Clongowes who has the lead as they take the left-hand swing into the back straight, but only a narrow advantage from Ginderella, who's been right there from the start. Ismail's never been too far off them, nor to Colchester, with a close fifth in behind them, Libor Lad. And Libor Lad followed by Top Story and Lochgarman Arish. And then a little closer to the pace now is Lifetime Adventure, as they take the first over on the far side. Call Me Arthur is there a little worse than midfield in the light blue, red and white colours, just niggled along for a few strides. Back marker is Gardon La, but in touch as they go towards the next flight over on the far side. This one will be 4 from the finish, and still battling away for the lead as they have done from the start, Clongowes and Ginderella. And then also racing together is Colchester and Ismail, and matching strides then the improving Lifetime Adventure on the outside of Tup Story and Libor Lad, and then Call Me Arthur as they go over this flight over on the far side of the course. And again, Call Me Arthur not fluent at that flight, and he's ridden along having jumped it. Gardon La's the buck marker, just being preceded now by Call Me Arthur, and also Hawaii du Mestival and Lochgarman Arish, who's being urged along. They're heading to the back straight, no change up front, vying for a lead. Ginderella on the outside of Clongowes as they head out of the back straight, and they've got just over half a mile to travel. Ismail is there in third, and a close fourth, Colchester. Tup Story, the well-backed runner, in fifth, and then on the inside, Libor Lad as they take the turn in, and Lifetime Adventure, who's back in 7th place. In 8th place is Hawaii du Mestival, trying to improve, and half a length back to the next Gardon La from Lochgarman Arish, and Call Me Arthur's dropped right back to the tail as they make the run for home and head towards 3 out, and it's Ginderella and Clongowes doing battle out in front. They're 2 lengths clear of Tup Story and Ismail and Libor Lad, who's improving on the inside as they take the third last, and there the advantage lay with Clongowes, but Libor Lad and Ismail are coming through to mount strong challenges. Ginderella still well there and improving, but taking a full step was Lifetime Adventure. Colchester pulled up 2 from home. Ismail has come through with Libor Lad to dispute it. Ginderella battling away the near side there, the front 3 from Lifetime Adventure, Clongowes and then Tup Story, but they head towards the final flight. Ismail in the centre of that leading trio, comes to take the last, puts in a big leap, lands in front from Ginderella back in second. Libor Lad can find no more. Tup Story back in fourth. They race inside the last half furlong, and it's Ismail out in front, being driven clear by Lee Edwards. 4 lengths clear, and goes on to win the last. Ismail goes on to beat Ginderella. Back in third, Tup Story. Pretty close for fourth. Libor Lad held up on from the running Hawaii du Mestival.
Well, Ismail just had to improve a little bit on his first run in a handicap at Market Racing last time when he was fourth, and he did. He's actually improved quite a lot to win that convincingly in the end. He does tend to go a little bit to the left at his hurdles, but that's not so much of a problem when you're that far superior and you're running that way round. So if you jump left-handed, best to go anti-clockwise, and it definitely worked for him today. Lee Edwards for trainer Kevin Frost. So they're at the start as Ferry has for the final race of the day in Ireland now. And this is a flat race for future jumpers. And it might be quite a good one. We've got a few ex-pointers in here. We've been running in those amateur steeple chases. Argento Boy, though, is the first ever race for him today. But the reason he's such a short price is he's trained by Willie Mullins, who's had a fantastic day all over the place, different race courses, different countries. And Argento Boy is half-brother to a champion bumper winner, Briar Hill. It costs €120,000, so you can see why there's been a lot of interest in Argento Boy. He's going to go off a very short-priced favourite. He's a grey. We'll see him coming in from the left-hand side of the picture in the moment. Is brown and yellow quarters. And if Argento Boy turns out to be as good as the market expects, then he's going to win this easily. But Willie, Lieber Nick seems to be fancied a bit from the Henry de Bromhead stable. He was on the floor first time out. It wasn't his fault. He fell over the top of another horse. And then 8th at Leopardstown last time out in a decent race. That's the big meeting at Leopardstown over Christmas. Now, I think this is not as strong a race. It's not a bad race, but it's nowhere near as strong as that. So Lieber Nick's potentially interesting if Argento Boy's not quite as good as everybody thinks. And then you've got, now What Do You Think, and Born Braver, who have won point to points. And Shaheen, who's never raced before, but might be anything, who knows, lining up at Ferryhouse last of the day, could get a decent horse out of this. And it'd be fascinating to see if Argento Boy manages to run up to the reputation, which is very obvious in the betting, although it may just be punters backing Willie Mullins on the grounds he's such a good trainer and has such a good day. Let's find out.
PK bumper, heading for the stands the first time. It is Seskin Flash, the leader from the grey Argento Boy, who's followed by Coral River and the checks. He's Gorgeous. And then Born Braver. Now What Do You Think is next. And then Lieber Nick, the Journeyman, Dairy Force, Shaheen. Coming past the winning post the first occasion, the leader is Seskin Flash, Adam Ryan by 3 lengths to Argento Boy, Jody Townend in second place, and third, Coral River, Charlie Mullins. He's Gorgeous next. On the inside is Born Braver. And then Now What Do You Think? Lieber Nick and the Journeyman with the final couple, Dairy Force and Shaheen. Reaching their final mile and 5. Seskin Flash, the leader, from Argento Boy, the favourite, in the quartered colours, and third is Coral River, and then Born Braver. He's Gorgeous. Now What Do You Think is next? And then Lieber Nick, the Journeyman, Dairy Force, and Shaheen. Little or no changes, mile and a half to go from here. Seskin Flash, keeping close to the inside, leads on the ascent to the top of the track, Argento Boy and Coral River. Then he's Gorgeous and Born Braver. And Now What Do You Think next? Followed by Lieber Nick, about to swing a right at the highest point of the course, and it's Seskin Flash making the bend, a few lengths in front of Argento Boy, and then Coral River. He's Gorgeous next, and then Born Braver. Now What Do You Think? Lieber Nick next on the inside, followed by the Journeyman. Dairy Force last but 1, and Shaheen remains the back marker by a couple of lengths. 9 furlongs to go. Seskin Flash, not so far in front, has come right back to Argento Boy, who's now within a half a length to 3 parts. A break of a length to Coral River, just third from Born Braver, and he's Gorgeous. And then Now What Do You Think? And Lieber Nick with the final 3, the Journeyman, Dairy Force, and Shaheen. They're past the halfway stage. Seskin Flash by a neck to Argento Boy. Less than 2 lengths back to Coral River, just edging the third from his Gorgeous, and then Born Braver. Now What Do You Think next? Then Lieber Nick, the Journeyman, Dairy Force, and Shaheen. Inside the final 7 furlongs, and Argento Boy just pokes to the front from Seskin Flash. Close up in third is Coral River, and then Born Braver. He's Gorgeous is next, and then Now What Do You Think? Who's racing on to the heels of the leaders with 6 to run, and then Lieber Nick, the Journeyman, Dairy Force, and Shaheen. 5.5 furlongs out in the SPK bumper. Argento Boy leads past the 5 from Born Braver, who's making headway. Seskin Flash has dropped back on the inside, and then Coral River. Now What Do You Think is close up on the outside. His Gorgeous is pushed along, followed then by Lieber Nick inside the final half mile. Heading for the turn into the straight, and it's Argento Boy from Born Braver, Seskin Flash. Now What Do You Think on the outside of Coral River, who's now ridden along, then Lieber Nick, who's made some ground. Shaheen from last, and then Dairy Force turning in for the final 2.5 furlongs, Argento Boy from Now What Do You Think on the outside. Being followed then on straightening up Borden Braver. Lieber Nick is next, and then Coral River and Straheen. Racing to the final 2 furlongs, Argento Boy from Now What Do You Think on the outside. Followed then by Lieber Nick and Borden Braver. Racing to the final furlong and a half. And it's Argento Boy, the leader. And is now starting to fire up the engine from Borden Braver. Now What Do You Think? And Lieber Nick is next, well cleared of Coral River. Racing inside the final 200 yards. It's Argento Boy out clear. In second place is Borden Braver and then Lieber Nick. Followed then by Now What Do You Think? And at the finish, it's Argento Boy. Super afternoon for Willie Mullins. Second is Borden Braver, Lieber Nick third.
Yep, Willie Mullins winning races everywhere today. Britain and Ireland, different tracks. It's been an epic day for him, and this is a lovely horse. Cost 120,000 euros. First race today. He's a half-brother to Briar Hill, who won the equivalent race at the Cheltenham Festival. And that, of course, makes him potentially a very interesting horse for this year's champion bumper in a few weeks' time. First time on the racetrack today. Did it without turning a hair, didn't he, really? How good are the others behind? The fact is they're nowhere near as good as he is. Will they win future races? Yes, I think they will. But Argento Boy may well be winning at the Cheltenham Festival, which is most definitely what they won't be doing. And then, of course, he may have a lovely career over hurdles to follow after that. But he's made a perfect start to his career today. He's won it easily. He was expected to do so. He's won it with his head in his chest. And it'll be very interesting now to see whether Willie Mullins gives him another race before he goes to Cheltenham, just to give him a bit more experience, or whether he goes straight to the festival. But Argento Boy, short price to win today, made no mistake. Newcastle now, second race of the day. You can see the lights coming on there in the northeast as evening sets in. All-weather flat racing from now on, and they got floodlights there over the straight 1,600 metres, so all the races for the rest of the day. They got the long one out first while it was still light, and now for the rest of the day, all the races will be 1,600 metres or shorter, so a combination of sprint races, 7 furlong races, and mile races, so up to 1,600 metres. This one is over the straight mile. It's a